Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode of how to lay out your light plot in Vectorworks Spotlight, I'm going to show you how to type in your channel numbers into your light plot. And like most things in Vectorworks, there is an easy way and there is an easier way, and I'm going to show you both. So the first thing I'm going to talk about just a little bit before we start drafting is how I lay out my channels. And again, I think we've talked about this a little bit, but when you start out, I very well could start with my first channel right here as number one, and then my last channel up here is 148, and that would work. It'd be easy to do, but when you got to writing your light cues, that would be really confusing and really difficult. So how I tend to how I tend to lay out my channels is by thinking in terms of systems. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit, and so I'm looking at this system right here, and the first system looks like it is. Thank you. It is the front cool lights. So I would do A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D, so on and so forth till I get through all of the lights of the front cool lights. So let's say my last front cool light would be channel 10. So then starting the next system would be channel 11. And I would say probably my warm front lights would be my second system. So I would start here 11, 12, 13, 14, and so on. And then I would, if my last warm system would be 20, then the starting number on my next system would be 21. So like the top lights, so 21, 22, 23, 24, like that all the way through. You don't want to make sure you want to make sure you don't double up on channels, because then it'll just get to be a mess when you're working in the console for the first time. So the bottom line is you want to try and think of making your channels in systems that will make your life a little bit easier to understand. And so I would highly recommend thinking that way, but you can channel however you want. We're not necessarily going to be doing any of our projects and patching them, queuing them, but you would see if you didn't do it, if you did it some way other than systems, you would find yourself in a little bit of trouble. It'd be a little bit more of a challenge. So that's the way I would recommend. So the first way I'm going to show you how the easy way to type in your lighting channels is going to be as such. We're going to start over here on boom 1, and as you can see, I have 6 units, and 3 of them are Roscoe 17 and 3 are Roscoe 65. So I'm going to start out with the Roscoe 65s and select all of them. And let me check here. Our Roscoe 65 is channel 56. So I'm going to come over here, type in 56, enter, and it should pop them in. Yes, it does. Now I'm going to select Roscoe 17. Okay, and that channel is channel 54. So I'm going to come over, channel 54, and type that in, and we're good to go. So you might think, well, how can anything be easier than that, Pat? Well, that's not bad when you can select multiple units, but the problem is when you get down into our electrics, where each fixture is a different channel, that's when it will get to be kind of a challenge. Look at this, we're missing a color scroller. I'll fix that later. So there is an easier way to do this, and I'm going to show you right now. And what it entails is, what we're going to do is I'm going to save this quick. You should always make sure you save all the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to import a file out of Vectorworks. Or I'm sorry, we're going to export a file out of Vectorworks, and then we're going to import that same file into Microsoft Excel. In Microsoft Excel, we'll type in all of our channels, save it, and then we'll export it back into Vectorworks Spotlight, and it's gonna take care of it all automatically for us. So let's get going. First thing we want to do is we want to make sure we go to File, Export, and we want to export instrument data. What we want to do is we want to first make sure Export in LightWrite 4 format. So we want to make sure that is not selected. Then what we want to do is we want to come over here and select the light right button plus the focus. You can double click it. Okay, so now we have everything selected and ready to export. And just so you know, Lightright, that is a Lightright is a paid, pretty high-end lighting paperwork system. We own a copy or two at Northwest, but it's a little, I don't have enough for everybody. And for the purposes of beginning lighting designers, using Excel and Vectorworks Spotlight will get you exactly where you need to go. So we have it all set up like this. We click export, and it's going to ask us where do we want to save it. And make sure you save it to a location that you know where it's going to be. And it calls the file data export. You can leave that. We click on save. It's up here as exporting instrument 1 through 146, and we're done. So now what we can do is we can go to Microsoft Excel, and I'm going to open that up. What I'm going to do is come over to File, Open, and now I'm going to go find our file. So I'm going to go dig for that. And the one thing we have to change is we have to make sure down here, we have to click on it and make sure all files are selected. Scroll down a bit, and here's our file, data export. Double click on that, and now it's going to open up. You have to go through a couple steps of an import wizard here. It's really simple. Let's make sure delimit is selected, and we're going to click on next, next, and finish. So here is our all of our information. You can see down at the bottom here, these are the channels that we typed in earlier. Those exported out, imported into Microsoft Excel. So now what we're going to do is, let's just take a look at this. It looks like it's sorted by position. Here's all the front of house, the box booms, boom 4, so on and so forth. But if we look over at the unit numbers, it looks like they're all sort of discombobulated, sort of, and we want things to be sorted by position and unit number, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to start with we're going to select the column and drag all the way across. You want to make sure everything is selected. We can't leave out anything. We're going to come up to data, okay, and we're going to come over to sort by position, add a level, then sort by unit number. We're going to click OK, and there it sorts everything. Now we have boom 1, the units that we typed in earlier. There they all are. So what I'm going to do one last thing is I'm going to select these two columns and come over to Home and center them. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to type in information for a couple of positions, and I'm going to start with position, the front of house position, okay? So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to scroll down to front of house position. Okay, keep on going. I'm going to just do a little something just to kind of select these so you can see them a little bit. So the one thing you want to make sure when we start importing typing in is, you see there's columns that say, or rows that say static accessories. We're not going to be putting channel information in there, so help me remember that. But all we have to do is we just have to start up here in channel and start typing in numbers. So it's really quite easy. So we're going to start with channel 13. Oh, sorry. 13, 14, 12, 99, and now 11, 11. And I did that because I have a twofer in the light plot, and that accounts for the twofer. Then I come down to 10 and 10. Now you're going to see that there's a static accessory, and that is our gobo. So I'm going to skip this guy, and then do another 10, and then I'm going to come down to this is going to be channel 5 right here. Skip the static accessory. I was going to say static electricity, but it's static accessory. Dimmer 9 or channel 99 again. 11. No, I'm sorry. 9. The next two are 4. Skip the static accessory. 4 again. Skip it again, and we're going to have 3 and 3. 99. 2, 6, 1, and they're all typed in. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up and I'm going to type one more. I'm going to type in the box, the boom number 4. So I'm going to come over here to boom number 4. Oops. Where am I here? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Sorry about that. Boom number 4. Okay, so again, I come over here to channel. Boom number 4, 1. Boom number 4, fixtures 1, 3, and 5 are channel 60. So, and then 2, 4, and 6 is 58. So it's 60, 58, 60, 58, 60, 58. And we are done. So you're going to want to go through and type in all of your channels. I'm not going to sit here and make you sit and watch me type in channels. That's doing a couple of them is painful enough. What I'm going to do now is we're going to go back and we're going to save this file, and then we're going to go and import it into Spotlight and see what happens. So we come to File, and we're going to save. Now it says data export may contain features that are not compatible with text. Do you want to keep the workbook in this format? Yes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to Vectorworks, and we're going to come over and we're going to go to File, Import Instrument Data, and now what we want to do is we want to go find that file one more time. Browse, here it is, Data Export, and we want to make sure in this Unique ID field that UID is selected. So we want to make sure UID is there, and then we want to click on Auto Link, and it links everything up quite nicely. And then we want to go to Import, and it looks like it's imported in all 146 units. That is good. I'm just going to come in here and just see how it, so we can see just a little bit. And now what we have to do is we have to come in and to Spotlight, refresh instruments. It takes a little bit because we're starting to have quite a bit of data in our light plot, and in a second or so, if all goes well, our channel should be into our light plot. And look at that. It looks like some of them are in the light plot and some of them are not. It looks like the fixtures that were twofered were not. And I'm not exactly sure why that's happened, but what I'm going to do, I'll try and figure out why that is, but for the sake of our demonstration here, I'm going to come back, because it happens sometimes. You know, you probably well know that sometimes computers don't behave the way we would like them to behave. So I'm going to type it in manually. So let's see, 6 and 5. That is, they're both 11. Well, it's listing them as 11. It's just not displaying it. So I'm going to have to do a little work here, and I will get back to you on that. So with that being said, in this video I showed you how to type in channels. I showed you the easy way by selecting the fixtures right on the plot, and I showed you a little easier way, I think is easier, especially when you have a big plot, of going in, exporting out of Vectorworks Spotlight, importing into Excel, typing in your information, and then exporting it back into Spotlight. There was a small bump in the road with our twofers down here, but again, I would highly recommend doing it that way. It will save you a lot of time. So I would, again, this is kind of a high-end topic, but so I would recommend, you know, maybe taking a look at this again or working on your light plot. And we have only a few more episodes left, and you'll be off to the races.